Shalom family, I am out here in the yard. We just had a rainstorm last night that tore down my greenhouse, so I had to just take it down. Um, yeah, but I'm out here trying to get some of my brassicas cut. Although they're a lot smaller, I'm going to cut these greens today and cook them. Although they're a lot smaller than I would like before harvesting them, they are bolting. And for those of you that might not know what that means, it means that it's going to flower. And as you can see, this one has bolted and went to flower. And once it does that, the greens get tough and bitter, and they are not as tasty. So at that point, this is how it forms its shells and the seeds. So this is how you get the seeds for that they sell in the store. Once it bolts and goes to flower, and then it creates these pods. And then once the pods dry out, you can crack them open, and that's where the seeds that you would purchase in the store would be. So a lot of my brassicas that I started in the fall have bolted. So I've taken all of them up. I left a few so I can have some for seeds. So this is the one here that I'm saving. And also the bees, it attracts the bees. So I left this one here to flower and seed, and also as a pollinator attractor, which a pollinator are your bees and butterflies that land on them, and you know, they help to pollinate your plants. So that's why bees are good for your garden. So these greens here, before they bolt and get too bitter, I'm going to go ahead and cut these down today and make a pot of greens from them. Yeah, because a lot of these are starting to bolt and go to flower. Yeah, these are the ones that I planted late last year, and that normally happens with your brassicas because they are more cool weather crop. Once it gets too hot, that's what causes it to bolt. So I'm out here harvesting these few greens. Yeah, so I am dumping my soil, the bags of the brassicas that have bolted, into my wheelbarrow, dumping the soil into the wheelbarrow because I will repurpose this soil. So I cut the brassicas down. I'm dumping the soil into the wheelbarrow to later on repurpose, because you can reuse this soil. You just put a few amendments, and what amendments are is some fertilizer and things that's going to replenish the soil again, so that way you can reuse it. So yeah, I dump them in here. I take the stems. You could take these stems. I normally cut these down, and you could put them into your compost, but you can also blend these up for juice. So yeah, I'm dumping them out of the grow bags. You can see all of the rooting down in the grow bags, but I will clean this out, turn it inside out, scrape the roots out and clean it out good, and then put some other things in there. So yeah, the one that has bolted, these are some greens here that I've let bolt that I'm going to keep, because as I mentioned, the flowers attract pollinators, but also you can see the pods here that are going to eventually turn into seeds. So seeds are forming inside these pods. Once it dries completely out, you'll be able to open up the pods and collect all of the seeds. So yeah, so I'll keep this one, but these few here that I'm cutting down to make a pot of greens tonight, they are smaller than I normally harvest them, but because they are bolting, flowering, I don't want them to get bitter. So I'm going to cut these down, repurpose the soil, and then repot some other things. The good thing about brassicas is that they are very easy to grow. but it is getting too hot. Pretty warm for brassicas, but I do have another round of greens and things going as well. So yeah, just out here harvesting these greens to cook tonight and repurposing my soil. Okay, so this is what it looks like after it's been cut down. There are some greens that I am not going to use. Just put it in the compost. And you could tell once it's, like I said, once it bolts, it gets very tough, rubbery. And also the shape of them are different. They're kind of elongated. So you know those are the ones that have bolted. So I'll repurpose these into my compost, or I can use these into a green smoothie. So I'm going to dump the stems out, dump it out into my wheelbarrow so I can repurpose the soil and take the stems out, and then either put the stems inside the compost so they can you know, because it's a lot of nutrients in these stems. You could either blend that up and make a juice as well. But I'm going to put these back into the compost. Okay, so this one here is a bok choy. And something is getting to them. I don't know if you can see the little holes that they're creating in them. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest these as well and pull this out of this container, repurpose the soils to plant something else, because like I said, I have a lot of starts that's waiting to come out, so I can utilize some of these containers and things to bring the spring gardening stuff out. But yeah, this one is getting ready to bolt as well. I don't know if you can see the starting of the seeding here. And also something is getting to them, eating on them. So I'm just going to go ahead and harvest these. And I'm going to cook these down with the greens tonight. The heads of the bok choy. Looks very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and sit that in there. Take these flowers out the top. Yeah, looks really good. Other than the holes in them. But it's formed very well. And I have another head of bok choy here. Just got to separate it from the dirt. But yeah, it looks very good. As far as the coloration, it's very vibrant. Baby bok choy. So what I'm doing here is cutting away the roots from the stem, separating them. Because I'm going to put them inside my compost, I don't want to add the roots in there. I don't want stuff growing, this to regrow inside the compost bin. So I'll cut away the roots, which I did, which I did with these. And then I'll cut these down and throw them into the compost bin. Yeah, you have to cut away all of these roots so you don't have stuff growing, plants growing in the compost.